that properties are worth a tiny fraction, 1/100th, a tiny fraction of what they actually are. We have a racist attorney general who's a horror show, who ran on the basis that she was going to get Trump before she even knew anything about me.
This is what the Trump organization said it was worth. In 2020, they self-reported that it was worth $27 million. And now he's going around screaming that they're framing him. Then your own company framed you. It also seems that he doesn't, and this has happened to him before, have a top-notch legal team with him. He has the one lawyer who he had to pay in advance because he stiffs everybody. And then he has Alina Habba, who gives a great cable news hit, and she's been on Jesse's show a bunch of times. But it seemed that she forgot, or just, I don't know what happened, to check the box saying that they wanted a jury trial. And then Donald Trump is complaining to the cameras and on Truth Social that it is un-American to have a trial without a jury, when his own crackpot team asked for that.
Monday was Trump's first day in court for the civil fraud trial in which the former president's been accused of inflating the value of his assets. Trump is now on the line for a $250 million penalty. New York Attorney General Letitia James has accused Trump, his sons, and his businesses of inflating the value of their assets in order to get better loans and insurance deals.
Today in court, we will prove our case.
New York Attorney General Letitia James accusing Mr. Trump, his sons, Eric and Don Jr., and his namesake company, the Trump Organization, of exaggerating the value of his real estate properties, including Trump Tower, Mar-a-Lago, and 40 Wall Street, by over $2 billion to receive better loan terms from banks.
During the trial, lawyers even claimed that Trump inflated his assets so he could get a better spot on the Forbes list of billionaires.
You know, it's not shocking, but it's real and it's accountable. Donald Trump at his root has always been a grifter. And nearly everything he's ever touched, including the presidency, has been involved with scams that he runs. I mean, here is a guy who, when he was president of the United States, he was running people through his then hotel in Washington, D.C., never declared the fact that, you know, his businesses were going to be independent of him and he was going to put him in a blind trust. Nothing like that during 4 years in office. And it continues each and every day. This is not a surprise that he has exaggerated his wealth, his holdings, the square footage of his apartment on Fifth Avenue. Not a surprise at all.
Jessica Tarlov, the resident liberal over on Fox News, broke down the trial, first reminding viewers that Trump has publicly bragged about exploiting loopholes and knowingly engaging in fraudulent business practices in the past.
Donald Trump campaigned in 2015 and 2016 over doing things like this. He told everybody, I'm the guy that can fix the code because I'm the one that knows every loophole, and I've been taking advantage of them. So we all knew this was happening.
And they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So if he's paid zero.
At the time, he sold this as a positive to all of his supporters, even though the rest of us presumably saw it for what it was, criminal. She also clarifies for viewers that despite Trump now claiming to be framed regarding the true value of his assets, the 2020 value was originally self-reported by the Trump Organization. Finally, Tarlov points out that Trump's legal team is not exactly full of first-choice attorneys. Trump, who has a well-earned reputation for not paying his legal fees, has found himself in a position where the best and brightest attorneys don't want to work for him. There are a few reasons why attorneys probably don't want to work for Trump. For example, they don't want to work for free. They don't want their reputations damaged. They don't want to be implicated in illegal activity. They've seen and heard that Trump is notoriously difficult to work with, or they just aren't confident that Trump has a strong enough case to win. So now Trump is left with Alina Habba, who just went on Fox News to attempt to convince Americans that Trump is not only a successful businessman, but that he built his company from scratch.
People forget that President Trump, I hope they don't forget, you shouldn't, you can't. President Trump was a very important person before he was president. He was a successful businessman, which is why he was a great president. He built this company from scratch, and now they're attacking his business, the people that work for this business, and his children. It's uncanny, and he's not going to stand for it because this is political lawfare. This isn't the justice system. This is political 100%.
To be fair, I guess that interpretation really depends on how you define define a successful businessman? As someone who actually creates and grows a profitable and productive business, or someone who enriches themselves by fraudulent and unethical means? It also depends on whether or not you consider multiple loans, a trust, and financial guarantees from his father worth millions and millions of dollars building something from scratch. And as far as Trump's legal team goes, someone either didn't fill out a form correctly or intentionally requested that Trump has a bench trial as opposed to a trial by jury. Trump is now defaming the judge, which is not surprising, but he's also saying that it's very unfair that he doesn't get to have a jury. It's not unfair. His legal team requested the bench trial. Some speculate that this was done accidentally because Trump's legal team is so horribly incompetent. Others say that this was done strategically so that Trump could have a single target, the judge, to defame and discredit publicly, which he's already doing, and one single enemy to blame for his misfortune if and when he's finally found guilty for the crimes that he appears to have knowingly committed. If he's convicted by a jury, it's harder to point one single finger. Besides, one single enemy, one name, one face is easier to direct a mob towards.
We are at a turning point in our nation's history. The targeting, prosecution of a leading political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela. It is commonplace there for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put into jail. What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country.
That was Alina Habba, one of the few attorneys Donald Trump has left following his arraignment on 37 federal felonies. Habba claims Donald Trump is being prosecuted for his political beliefs in a giant conspiracy led by the deep state, and the enemies are clear.
From the Russia hoax, to the attorney generals, to the corrupt DAs in Georgia and New York, and now this. The people in charge of this country do not love America. They hate Donald Trump. What we are witnessing today is the blatant and unapologetic weaponization of the criminal justice system.
Now, just hang on a second. Did you catch that Alina Habba said attorney generals, as in plural?
From the Russia hoax to the attorney generals.
Yeah, that's because Donald Trump prompted federal investigations not just from Merrick Garland, but from his own attorney general, Bill Barr. Habba's really hoping her wordplay will slide that one right past you. And why stop the cope train there? The talking heads over at OAN want you to know that actually getting indicted for stealing U.S. battle plans is what super cool guys do.
Well, like a lot of fine people, I've read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. And in Rules for Radicals, he says, before an operative can make any progress, you have to obliterate the middle, because the people in the middle will only slow you down. And so it doesn't matter if you're behind, you force people to pick sides. What the Biden administration and his Justice Department have done is they have forced people to pick sides. They have obliterated the middle.
Okay, can someone please explain to me what's up over at OAN? There's some time-traveling Vice Squad agent from the 1950s quoting Saul Alinsky at me.
Well, like a lot of fine people, I've read...
There's an anchor saying actually indictments are great for your career. And then there's this, which is just so on the nose for OAN that I'm not even going to set up the clip. Have at it.
They've truly dyed in the wool the support for Trump, and, you know, everyone tells me, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like, every time somebody says that to me, I reach for a revolver. I'm so tired of hearing it. But it's actually true, right? And so whoever thought it was a good idea to do this, right, they obviously weren't looking to what happened in Miami. And frankly, it's unfortunate for Trump. It's unfortunate for the people around Trump who are going through this, but in the end, politically, it's a win.
It was about the time the anchor wishes he had a pistol to silence all the doubts in his head that I realized, this is really above my pay grade to try and deprogram. We could ask the FBI, but these guys really don't like the FBI. But back in reality, some small cracks begin to show through the GOP's United Trump defense plan, and they came from a peculiar source. Former Speaker of the House and current Fox News board member Paul Ryan.
And this one's national security. This one's different. I used to have these same documents myself as Speaker of the House. So I think this goes beyond just some petty thing. Now, my guess is Trump will play this politically pretty well and make this weaponization argument and make this about Joe Biden's Justice Department. And that's going to have some political saliency. So I don't think Marco's wrong in saying that there's some political sting here. But I can't help but think the weight and the baggage of all of this.
It is remarkable, absolutely remarkable, that even in the face of a crisis like this, a crisis Paul Ryan acknowledges is real, his chief concern is still focused solely on how Republicans can message their way out of this mess.
It'll cost us the White House, and we want to win, and we do want to win.
You want to know how the GOP got here? Don't stop the clock on Donald Trump and that golden escalator. Roll it back to that guy, Paul Ryan, the guy who told Republicans it was okay to sell out what values they had left for short-term political power. Now Paul Ryan has come back from getting rich over at Fox News to lecture the rest of us about how to deal with a problem he created. No thanks, pal. It doesn't matter if Republicans minimize Trump's misconduct or deny it outright. A supermajority of Americans believe Trump is lying, and they think Donald Trump is guilty of crimes that disqualify him from ever holding office again. Now that's a decision that we as a people have to make together.